Chicago Fire hasn't been the same since Chief Wallace Boden departed Firehouse 51 in Season 12. Boden left to pursue his new position as Deputy Commissioner of the Chicago Fire Department, CFD. He initially didn't want the job but changed his mind because the older generation of firefighters in the CFD was in jeopardy due to paramedic Chief Robinson's candidacy. Boden wanted to prevent Robinson from becoming Deputy Commissioner and took the job himself to ensure that every firefighter was treated fairly. Boden was a caring leader, mentor, and father figure to everyone in Firehouse 51. Firefighters and paramedics approached their leader during challenging situations, and he would advise them with diligence and sincerity. Boden was never intimidated by anyone who outranked him or threatened to take his job if he didn't comply with their rules. With Dom Pascal as the new chief of 51 in Season 13, firefighters like Stella Kidd and Kelly Severide have felt pressured to adjust to change. Various elements of his character demonstrate how much of a loss his exit was for Chicago Fire. 10. Boden's tough demeanor towards other high-ranked firefighters. Boden is a fearless leader when confronting others. Chief Boden and Jim Anderson, Chicago Fire. One of Boden's greatest qualities is standing up for himself and his team when confronted by other high-ranked firefighters. For example, in Season 5, Episode 14, Purgatory, Boden is infuriated when Deputy District Chief Jim Anderson reassigns nearly every member of Firehouse 51 to different fire stations. Anderson did this in response to Boden and his crew going on the same call as Anderson's unit in the previous episode. This resulted in Boden making a life-saving decision that Anderson viewed as overstepping his authority. Boden makes it clear to Anderson that he never intended to sidestep his leadership role, and he's the only one who should decide which firefighters stay and go in Firehouse 51. Another pivotal confrontation involved Boden squaring off against Ray Riddle, a district deputy chief for the CFD, who intentionally went after 51 because he wanted to become commissioner and fired Boden for his legal troubles. Boden, refusing to back down, warns Riddle that he will fight to get his job back, and eventually does, foiling Riddle's plan, causing his demotion to airport work. 9. Boden's ability to listen to his crew when they are in turmoil. Boden cares about the challenges of his crew members. Joe Cruz, Violet McCarmer, Christopher Herman and Stella Kidd in Chicago Fire. When members of Firehouse 51 went through difficult times, they would go to Chief Boden for support and guidance. For instance, Boden assisted firefighter Joe Cruz on multiple occasions. In the episode, What I Saw, Joe contemplates the decision to go undercover for intelligence to help solve a series of robberies possibly caused by another firefighter. Boden believes in Cruz and affirms that it's the right thing to do. This is a major contrast to Season 13 because Cruz didn't feel comfortable talking to Chief Pascal about his problem with drug dealer Junior Polanco. Boden also helped his colleagues prepare for stressful exams to elevate their job status, including paramedic Gabriella Dawson with her firefighter test. He mentored Christopher Herman for the lieutenant exam and encouraged him to do the battalion chief test later on so he could be his successor. Boden has supported his paramedics, including Sylvie Brett with her paramedicine program to aid the elderly in their homes, and backed Violet McCarmy during her blackmail turmoil with Emma Jacobs. 8. Boden's inspirational speeches to the Firehouse. Boden knows how to inspire his unit with words of wisdom. Chief Boden and Firehouse 51 mourn Otis in Chicago Fire. Boden was always the greatest speaker when he gave motivational speeches to uplift his firehouse during successful rescues and celebratory promotions. One example is when the chief surprises his crew during a community cookout by announcing that Herman will be promoted to lieutenant in Firehouse 51. When mentioning Herman's new role, Boden talks about how the job of a firefighter is to help the community, not for self-serving or egotistical purposes. Boden knows Herman well and has strong confidence in his abilities as a lieutenant. The chief gave a passionate speech during Brian Otis Zvonacek's memorial service, signifying the emotion felt by his peers and the pain of losing a fellow firefighter. Another sentimental moment was one of Boden's last speeches to his crew in Season 12 because firefighters like Severide and Kidd know Firehouse 51 won't be the same without their leader. Boden describes the challenges of change and how individuals come and go in 51, but they will always be considered family. Boden's protectiveness towards his firefighters and paramedics. Boden stands up for every member of Firehouse 51. Gail McLeod, Chicago Fire. Chief Boden always protected his fellow firefighters and paramedics whenever they were in trouble or faced scrutiny. One particular instance of this occurred when Boden stood up for Severide when he was being micromanaged by a furious Anderson in Season 5's Trading in Scuttlebutt. Boden defended the firehouse against several antagonists who wanted to take over Firehouse 51, including Anderson, Riddle, and paramedic Chief Robinson during his final season. The chief even attempted to resign from 51 when his crew was threatened by Deputy Director of Finance Gail MacLeod in Season 2. The fact that none of them were able to get rid of Boden and Firehouse 51 is a testament to their strength and resilience over the years. Boden's tagline, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." The chief's catchphrase sets the tone for each call. Amon Walker as Chief Boden on Chicago Fire. Every time Firehouse 51 responds to a call and arrives on the scene, Boden is one of the first leaders to give or acknowledge orders on how to handle a fire. He follows that by saying, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." This tagline is motivational by Boden because it encourages his crew to get going and react quickly to a dangerous situation. British actor Amon Walker, who played Boden for 12 seasons, was inspired to use this catchphrase so he could develop his character's voice and American accent after listening to tapes of real Chicago fire chiefs. The chief's final rescue at 51 and his "Let's go" chant highlight how much Boden would be missed by his unit because he has been their leader ever since the show's inception. Boden and his tagline are missing this season because Chief Pascal doesn't have a catchphrase and has a more stern demeanor compared to his predecessor. Perhaps, if Herman becomes the future chief of 51, he can use Boden's line for inspiration or come up with a tagline of his own.